What's the story behind government cheese?
So all right. I'll give you the whole story. I'm gonna give you the from top to bottom the whole truth behind it, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I sold my business in 2017. 2019, I stopped working for the private equity firm that had acquired my business. COVID hit in 2020, right? When COVID hit in 2020, I ended up having to restart my business because the private equity firm didn't continue operations post-COVID. And you know how it is. Like when you do government contracting, like our customers do business with us. Like they're calling us. You know what I'm saying? Like if something happens, they're calling you. They may, call other people, but at the end of the day, you're their contact. They know you. And so essentially that started happening when the private equity firm wasn't picking up the phone. So I ended up restarting my business. So I had vowed I didn't want to do the business anymore after I sold because I'm like, I checked it off. I built it, sold it, move on to the next thing. But then I got back into it. So did that 2020, 2021. 2021, I turned 40 years old and I'm like, bro, I'm still in a sewer. So like, I thought that when I sold my business and I made all these millions of dollars, I would never have to go back in a sewer. And now I look up and I'm spending my 40th birthday at a Holiday Inn with 6 sewer workers, right? And I'm like, this ain't what I had planned for myself when I thought I was going to become a millionaire. This wasn't in the bingo card. So I was like, yo, I got to do something. Like, what it's got to be something past this point. You know what I'm saying? So, I start asking God, just like, show me something else. So that was 2021. So 2022, it was so funny. I was actually doing a podcast similar to this. And I've always been the type that I've always mentored and helped people throughout like my career. Like if a younger brother comes to me, he's like, hey man, I'm trying to start my own construction business. All right, bro, let me show you how to do it. Here's what I do. Here's my forms that I use. Here's how you bid. That's just who I am. And so that I was doing that for a young brother in Tampa. Matter of fact, it's funny you say Tampa, where you got your start. And he was actually prior service and he was working at McDeal and he was trying to start his own government contracting business. So I was mentoring him on how to do it. And he had a podcast. So he was like, man, I want you to come on a podcast and tell people how you've been helping me. So I'm like, all right, whatever, bro. So I go do the podcast. And while I'm on the podcast, one of the other hosts, he was a digital marketer. And he said, hey, man, like, this is dope. Like, I've never seen anybody online talk about government contracting the way you do it. Like, you should really like start teaching it. So I'm like, I don't know what that is. I didn't even have Instagram at the time. That's why people laugh. But like, if you go on the Government Cheese Instagram page, you'll see it literally started in May of 2023. Like that's when I got on Instagram. I wasn't on Instagram prior to that because as you know, we're government contractors.
Yeah.
My client's not on the internet.
Yeah. You don't even need a website. you don't need nothing.
People don't understand this because they're so used to the way normal business works.
Yeah.
So, but you get it. So that's what it was. So then I said, hey bro, look, I don't have any of that social stuff. But if you help me create a course and you really think that it can help people, I'll do it. So that's what happened. He created the course and we launched it. So then he's like, man, we need a name. We need a name. And so he was like, we're going to call it government cheese. We're getting that cheese from the government. And I'm like, that's corny. Like, that's the corniest thing I've ever heard. Like literally the first logo was like a block of government cheese. And I'm like, that is the corniest thing ever. But then I sat with it and I'll explain to you why it stuck. So I started my business in April of 2009. When I started my business in April 2009, I remember I told you I went broke in 2007, 2008. So I was done. I had nothing, like literally nowhere to live, no car, no nothing. I was dead broke. And so I was actually on government assistance when I started my first business. My daughter was born in November of 2010. And even though I had just started my business and I was making money with government contracting, I was still broke. So I was on government assistance when I had my daughter. So then I started thinking about my journey in government contracting. And I was like, nah, you know what? Let's keep the name. And he was like, wow. I was like, because it's symbolic to me because when I started my journey in government contracting, I was on government cheese. And now it's what you think of it as is getting cheese from the government. And so that's why the name stuck and I just rolled with it. And so when people ask, I tell them a story. I'm like, yo, this is when I started, I was on government cheese and now I'm not. And so it took me from that to this. And so that's how the name is. And that's why it's there. And like I said, I just kept it and rolled with it. And people think it's funny, and it is. It's catchy. Like, it's annoying when I go out in public and be like, "Yo, government cheese." Like that's a little.
You're in a nice restaurant, government cheese.
Yeah, man. Outside of that, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.